Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Wave Network and my show, Sports Corner with the Conn Man. Uh, Today, I have with me two great guests of probably one of the best basketball documentaries of all time called Hoop Dreams. We have William Gates and Arthur Agee who will be on, and we're going to discuss about the movie. We're going to talk about some things, how it originated. I got some questions I got to ask them. This is going to be one of them shows that's probably going to be very epic, and I'm looking forward to it. We're not right now. We're just waiting on our guests. So, up until the time they come on, Hoop Dreams uh, was established in 1994. I was about 34 years old, and you know, we heard about this movie, and I had to go check it out. You know what I mean? And it was a great movie, and these two individuals. It's a true life documentary on their lives and what transpired. I don't want to tell too much. I'll wait for them to come on. I think it's going to be an inspiring show as well. Show about inspiration and what they had to go through. I mean, think about it. Growing up in Chicago, you know what I mean? And then, going to St. Joseph's, which happens to be one of the schools that, if my memory serves me correct, one of my favorite players of all time, Isaiah Thomas, went to. So, I'm looking forward to that. I don't want to tell you too much more. I'm just waiting for them to come on. And, it's an honor and privilege having those two individuals who kind of, they kind of established a little bit of history and basketball, especially back in 1994, before all this podcast, before all this stuff that we got going on now. And I think that what they did was truly inspirational, and it was a great movie, true life documentary on their lives and their families. And it's just a true testament to how good things can be. You know what I mean? And especially growing up in the area of Chicago. For some reason, which I don't know, I have affinity for Chicago. I don't know, but I do. You know what I mean? I guess it goes back to I'm here in Massachusetts, New Bedford, Mass to be exact. And I used to frequent. I went every damn year to the Boston Shootout. And I recall back in the day, a guy by the name of, y'all might be familiar with, Doc Rivers. When he was in high school, damn, that shows how old I am. God damn. But anyway, Doc Rivers was killing it with the Chicago entry. And then we all know about the great Mark Aguirre. He came on and did the damn thing as well. You know what I mean? And he was unbelievable. And then, of course, one quick story I can tell before they come on is that there was a guy. I'll just tell you the story, then I'll tell you the name. I had gone to the Boston Shootout. I don't remember the year because I got kind of dementia, you know what I'm saying? But I had gone to the Boston Shootout, and they had a dunk contest as they always did every year. And we have Pat Ewing, which we call Pete King because he's from Cambridge, Mass, via Jamaica. Right? That's my boy too, by the way. But anyway, he was in a dunk contest, and I don't remember too many of the other individuals. But there was an individual that was when they had the court, they had the half court, and then they had the players from various states, towns, whatever, all over the country. They were like in kind of like a semicircle. Well, anyway, there was this one individual, and now I don't know where y'all watching this from, but I call them loafers. I don't know what else the terminology you would call them, but I would call them loafers. They were like these, I guess, they were like canvas slippers. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Anyway, this individual, he did not play in the Boston Shooter, but he was there. And anyway, he came up and he was better than everybody who participated in the dunk contest. And I said, well, who the hell is this? Who the hell is this? And it happened to be Mr. Ronnie Fields. He came up and did things I never heard, seen. He was off the chain, and it was a what a show. And like I said, he had canvas loafers. We would call them boat shoes. You know what I mean? And he just did every. I was like, whoa, this was amazing. You know what I mean? And for some reason, Chicago people, I don't know. And I know y'all folks know who one of my favorite ball players of all time, Mr. Isaiah Lord Thomas, as we all know. So that's why I'm waiting for him to come on so we can discuss a little bit about that because, um, you know, uh, they had gone, one of them had gone to St. Joseph's, which is the same high school that Isaiah had gone to. And, they had to go to, like, I think it was uh, two buses or two trains and a bus or two buses and a train to get there every morning. I want to talk to them and have them describe exactly what that was like to go through all that. And then they had their dream of going to the NBA, and you know what? It all started when they were in eighth grade. They started when they were in eighth grade, and it just uh, I don't. I want to have them tell the story before I do. You know what I mean? So I don't want to say too much. I just want to chill out and talk about some things as they come on. We hear 6 p.m. on the Eastern time, so sometimes we have a little difficulty with the technical stuff. But what I wanted to do too is because I wanted to get the Chicago feeling and the Chicago thing in. When I started this journey of doing podcasting and all that, I happened to, when we were going through the COVID era and we were doing some things, I had recently retired from the Department of Corrections after over 30 years, and I wanted to find something that would captivate my interest. And I happened to scroll on Facebook a show called All Ball Chicago. And I seen this individual. He happened to go by the name of Robert Bobby Reed. And I said, whoa, whoa. I just like the way he conducted himself, the way he handled himself. He's very knowledgeable. He knows the game. He's from Chicago. He don't hesitate to tell you all that too, by the way. But anyway, I happened to I think I was kind of stalking him. And I told him, man, I'd like to come on your show. You know what I mean? He didn't know me from a hole in the wall, but I kept pursuing it. I kept going with the flow. I kept pursuing it. And he said, you know what, Mike, I'm going to get you on. I'm going to get you on with another OG. And his name is John Reeves. And he got us on the show. You know what I mean? And it kind of took off. Me and the OG, John Reeves, we kept it real. We kept it 100. And obviously, Robert and I have continued a great friendship. And, he's doing some phenomenal things in the Chicago area. And I owe a lot of him because without him, I don't think I would have pursued what I am now doing. So I owe a great deal of gratitude to Mr. Robert Bobby Reed. While we're waiting on my crew, I hope they come on there. It was on. Sometimes when you do podcasts, sometimes things happen. Would it be the time change or the technical difficulties or whatever? So right now we're just waiting on them. I hope they come on. It's not easy. Sometimes when you do podcasts like I do, and you try to bring the best to the viewers, and you go out and try to get the best guests you can have, it's difficult sometimes. You know what I mean? I have to, go out there and pursue, and people don't know me from a hole in the wall. You know what I mean? But I got to go out there and try to do the damn thing and try to bring the best to you viewers. And I've been very fortunate in the 3-4 years I've been doing this. I've had some tremendous guests and met some great people, and I'm honored and privileged. And let me tell you, I guess how I came up with having these two individuals on my show. I'm a basketball OG, basketball. I will not say historian. I told y'all that I will not do that. After having the great Sam Jones on my show, I will not call myself a historian. I just like the game and I like the old days. I'll call it like that, I guess. You know what I mean? But I had the great Sam Jones on my show, which was phenomenal. 10-time NBA champion. And he did I he did my show, and that was the last show he did before he passed away. You know what I mean? And when I had the opportunity to interview him, they told me, Mike, look, you might only be able to do about 15 minutes. I said, Sam Jones, give me 15 seconds and I'll take it. But anyway, I happened to call one of my good friends, Edwin Atlas, to come on with me because I know he's an OG like me, and he knows and understands and loves the history of the game. And I felt that there was no other one that I would want to have interview Sam Jones. But anyway, I'll tell this real quick story. Uh, I had contacted them, and through a friend, John Angelus, I think his name was, and he had notified me that, hey, you want Sam Jones to come on your show? I'm like, who? Is it Sam? I'm like, what? So anyway, long story short, he gets on the phone. We at this place called the Kibber Mill, and he gets on the phone and he goes, hey, yo, what's up, number 24? What's going on? I, I'm like, who the hell are you talking to? What the hell's going on? I was with my good friend Chops Turner, phenomenal singer, great entertainer. So we're sitting there, we're like, I don't know. And then he says, Sam, I'm 24. Would you like to say hello to my friends? So he get on the phone. I said, how you doing? And he's like, yeah, how you doing? I'm like, okay. I'm like in shock at that time. Anyway, I think he spoke with Chops as well. I'm not familiar with that. But anyway, so what happened was he said, do you want him on your show? I said, yeah, obviously. So give me the number. Say, hey, call this number, blah, 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 blah. So I get on the phone. It was his son at the time. So I said, okay, cool. Uh, I get on the phone. They said, well, Mike, he's kind of, older right now. And, you might be able to get about 15, 20 minutes. As I said, I'll take 15 seconds with the great Sam Jones, obviously. So me and my man, Ed Atlas, we do the show. We start talking about, whatever we talk about. And in the meantime, I gave my producer what I thought was Sam's number. So right while Ed and I are talking, the producer comes on. He says, Mike, you gave me the wrong number. This is not the right number. I'm like, God damn, what the hell am I going to do? I said, Ed, cover me for a minute. So Ed covered me for a minute while live. So I go back in my living room. I try to find some numbers. I'm like, damn, what number is it? So I give my producer the number. I go back on the air. And then Ed and I, we're kicking it. And then he goes, Sam's on the phone. I said, who? Sam's on the phone. I said, okay, bet. So he comes on, and you know what? It's probably one of the most emotional. I've been doing this for a minute, and I've had some tremendous guests on, but to listen to legend, I mean, it was absolutely incredible. What was supposed to be like a 15-minute interview ended up being over an hour and a half. I mean, not it might be a little bit less, might be a little bit more. But I'm not coming to find out that he knew my family. He knew because he used to hang out here down Martha's Vineyard out here, in Massachusetts or whatever. And he knew a lot of my people. He would mention, people that I knew, role models that I grew up with. Well, you felt were my role models, and he knew them. He would ask about so and so, Manuel Costa, Ginny Costa. He would name some names. I'm like, how the hell? Anyway, so check this out. This is what was really cool. The date, I'll never forget the date, was June 10th. Okay, because my birthday was June 11th. So I go out the following. It was a Friday night with him. We came on my show. Saturday morning, I'm out doing my errands. I'm doing the damn thing, and I come home and I hear the phone ring. I said, "Okay, cool." So I answered the phone. I said, "Hello," and "Hello, I'm like, how you doing?" I'm like, "Well, who's this?" This is Sam Jones. I want to thank you for having me on your show. And it was a great, to talk with you and reminisce. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This 10-time NBA champion had so much experience, and he gave us so much knowledge that I was absolutely in shock. I mean, for him to call me the very next day and thank me for having him on my show, when in all honesty, it was a pleasure and an honor to have him on my show. You know what I mean? As opposed to, him thanking me. I thanked him as much as I could. And unfortunately he passed away, a few months afterwards, and that was kind of a tough thing, you know what I mean? While we're waiting on Mr. Gates and Mr. Agee, I hope they come on. It was all set as far as I know, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do until they come on. But getting back to why I wanted him on the show is because, again, I'm a basketball student. I won't say historian. I'm a basketball student, and obviously, I remember the movie coming out in 1994, and I know it began when they were in eighth grade, and I know a lot of them. I don't see. I'm trying to hold off until they come on. I don't want to say too much, but I know I was inspired by the movie and what it was like. I got a wake up call as far as what it was like in Chicago, growing up in that era and that environment and all that. And I think that's why I probably have an affinity for Chicago people and what they had to go through. You know what I mean? And of course, one of my best friends in the world happened to coach University of DePaul twice. Of course, he goes by the name of David Lato. So I was kind of enthralled about the Chicago lifestyle. Then again, of course, Doc Rivers and Mike McGuire, Ronnie Fields, and it goes on and on and on and on. Um, so what I mean? It's kind of interesting that I have an affinity for Chicago and all that. I happen to have people, ask me some questions when Arthur and William were coming on, and it's I guess I was so pumped up, looking forward to them coming on, and hopefully they will. I guess sometimes the time change kind of goes whatever, but we know I did get in contact with both of them, and they said they were fine. They got the emails, everything was good. So I'm just sitting here waiting. Again with the time, I'm here on Eastern time, and I guess they're on Central time, so that could sometimes interact with what we do. So, I was pumped up. I'm ready to roll. You know what I'm saying? I got questions to ask. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? But while I'm waiting, because again, I don't want to tell too much. But what I would like to say is, what about them damn Knicks? While I'm on there waiting, what happened to the Knicks? You know what I mean? What was a 17-point lead? 3 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go, whatever it was. It just seems to me that there was a little bit of a miscommunication. When I was watching ESPN this morning, and Jason Williams, former Duke All-American, second pick and first pick in the NBA draft, he got on his little tablet thing there, and he pointed out the differences in how the Knicks, I'm not going to say choked, for how they just miscommunicated. Maybe now the talk is whether they were tired or not. I'm not sure if they were. I don't know. But all I know is, when you play only 7, 8 players, it takes a toll. And Brunson got in foul trouble again. And if you guys, I don't know if you guys watch any of the news, you know, they isolated all the players that Brunson was playing against, and they went 10 out of 12, which kind of put a burden on Brunson. And he was fighting through picks, and they went at him. They went at him. But what's kind of funny is because you figure, Cat Towns, they used to call him Mr. No Show and soft and all that. He had probably his best game of his career. And Jalen Brunson got 43 points, and they still lost. And they had a major lead. They did what was done to them is what they did to the Boston Celtics. And Indiana Pacers, I guess it's been 3-4 games where they were down by 17 points or more and came back. And then they got Halliburton, who was saying, well, he was, I guess, rated as one of the most overrated ball players in the NBA. Well, I guess he showed otherwise. Halliburton, he's kind of like lanky. He has a set shot. He has a set shot from the 1960s. You know what I mean? He don't have a jump shot. He has a set shot, but it can be very effective. And he's 6'6", lanky. You know what I mean? He's very tricky in the way he handles, but he has what I think is a great knowledge of the game. If you notice that last shot, he had a 2-point shot, but he went into the defense, said, came back to after outside the 3-point line, looked at the clock, checked it out, looked at the clock, and then flung it up. Boom. Hit the back of the rim, went up about 4 or 5 feet. And then when they're reminiscent of some other players, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And it took a lot of the energy out of the Knicks, because the Knicks played pretty well for the most part. Some missed foul shots and then just not holding the ball. Just keep the damn ball, hold it out. And here's the thing, which I don't know if they might be effective for tomorrow. Sometimes keep the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hand at the end of the games because they're going to double team him. They're going to keep the ball out of his hands. Let him be on the neutral side where he can get the receive the ball as opposed to trying to bring the ball up, because as a point guard, damn well the worst thing you want to do is get trapped at the end line. That's the very first thing. Basketball 1-on-1. You never want to get trapped at the end line because you got nowhere to go. What's in front, what's behind you? The bench. So you really don't want, you want to give yourself as much space so you can see the whole floor, so you can dig and darn and play chess while they're playing checkers, whatever. That's what you want to do. And what they did, if you guys noticed, was Brunson would always go kind of towards the paint, to the end line, and receive the ball and try to dribble through a double team. Wrong move. Because every time they felt that Brunson was going to, go 1-on-1 or try to go isolation, they double teamed him, and then obviously he had 7 turnovers, which he's never had during the playoffs at all. And that was very detrimental to the Knicks because come on, they had a 17-point lead, and to lose that at home the very first game, obviously the home court advantage goes to the Indiana. Indiana's playing very well. Halliburton is out of his mind. The guy has so much heart. And the thing about the Knicks, if you notice, they have really 2 go-to guys, Cat and Brunson. Whereas Indianapolis, you don't know who's going to be hot. It could be anybody. Nesmith, Nemhot, you know what I mean? They got so many weapons. They got a deep bench. And y'all ain't even seen Mathurin yet when he comes to play, when he steps up to the game. They got a great bench. They got a deep bench. The coach is very confident in the bench, so everyone's well rested. They play a very fast-paced game, but they can also alternate and go fast-paced, slow-paced, whatever. Very interesting. Here we go. I got my man helping me out in the cars here because we're waiting on the fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, I got my man Robert Bobby Reed. What's going on, my brother?
Man, I'm gonna come through for you, man. I see you doing your show. I said we waiting on the great Arthur Agee and Gates, man. Until they come, I'm gonna help you warm the mic up, man. What's up, Mike? How you doing, big dog?
I'm doing well, but I was telling the viewers, man, you are one of my inspirations because when I just started out doing this thing and trying to, search out, and it was during the COVID stuff, and I saw your show, and I mean, you electrified me the way you handle and conduct yourself. And then I was kind of stalking you, and I was like, damn, I want to come on this show. And then you gave me the opportunity with Mr. John Reeves. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart because probably without that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now.
Hey man, you're doing an excellent job, man, and you getting some heavy hitters, man. I'll be looking like, damn, I didn't even get them. How did he get them? How did he get them? I love it though, man. I love it. I'm sharing your stream out, man. I love it, man. I love what you're doing, man. You've been consistent too. Like you ain't took your foot off the pedal. Like I'm like waiting to see, like, okay, he's for real. You for real. You've been at it for about 3 years now, right?
Yes.
Man, good stuff, man.
But as I said, I use you as inspiration because every time I check you out, man, you just inspiring the way you conduct yourself, the way you handle, your guests. I mean, it's admirable. And someday I'm gonna try to get up to your level, but right now I ain't there. But you know what? It's something to look forward to. And I was so looking forward to having Arthur and William on the show. I know they've been on your show, and
you know what we had. I think we had Arthur Agee on. We pulled him out the stands one day on the show, I believe, on All Ball Chicago, but we have not been able to get both of them at the same time, which is perfectly fine, man, because I know guys get busy, which is perfectly fine. The main thing, man, is continue to keep preaching the truth like you're doing, man. You preaching the truth out here,
But
and you know what? And you got froze. I'm sorry, I don't want to lose talk, but you froze up. I caught the end of what you said because we got froze up for a second, and you said you ain't to my level yet. Like, man, I ain't on no level, man. I'm just putting out content just like you. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like from where your perspective, you might think, damn, Bob doing it big. Nah, I'm just flooding the internet. So, just keep flooding the internet, man, and somebody gonna listen. That's all I take. Because people not gonna always, like what we say and want to watch our shows and stuff. And sometimes you'll come on and won't nobody be watching. So you got to still be able to keep going,
Now, Robert Bobby, now you bleed Chicago. So
right.
like I was talking, I got affinity for Chicago. I was talking about, I first, because I used to go to the Boston shootouts way back in the day. You know what I mean? And that's when, believe it or not, Doc Rivers was the man.
I know that. Doc Rivers was a bad boy, man.
He was the bad boy. People don't know that.
Bad boy, man.
Before he went to my case, he was a bad. I'm telling you, he was a
bad boy in high school, man. Remember Doc Rivers? He got that name because he used to take off. He could fly.
Know that?
You didn't know that?
No.
Man, Doc Rivers, man, had some flight, man.
Yeah,
Doc Rivers was no joke, man.
No, not at all. And then, of course, your boy, he turned it out. He turned Boston shootout out. Mark Aguirre.
Man,
he turned damn thing out. Oh man, he
heard.
He was all that and then some, Bob.
He said he came down there and he said Patrick Ewing came in when he walked in. He said, man, who is this fat boy over here?
Right.
Mark said, man, I gave him 55.
Hey, all that and then some. All that and then some. And then I was telling a story. Yeah, and then I was telling a story, Rob, whereas matter of fact, Pat Ewing and them at the Boston shoot, they always would do a dunk contest. And there was one individual who didn't participate, but he was in the crowd at half court. And he had what I consider canvas loafers. And he came, people, because he didn't, I guess he was a little hurt. I'm not sure why he didn't participate in the games, but he was there. And he came on and he happened to go by the name, I think Ronnie Fields. He came on and did things I never seen before with Kevin Lowe's on. I said, oh. And then he came on my show, kind of thanks to you, because I had to use you as, inspiration. But he came on my show and we did the damn thing, and we spoke about that.
I saw you had him on, man. That's good, man. Tap in, man. If I could be a resource, man, tap in to anybody you see, reference me, whatever, man, because you're a great guy, man. You passionate about what you're doing. So tap in, use me. Just say, hey, man, I know Robert Bobby Reed, man. Hey, that's my man from Chicago. I got the culture out there. I got the culture in New Bedford. So, yeah, man, we appreciate you, man, what you're doing.
Well, Rob, thank you for coming on. But let me ask you a question. So the viewers might get an idea. What is your recollection when you were younger, watching, before you were playing, because you was nasty, and your sons were nasty too. But before you got to their level, what was your experience observing basketball in Chicago?
Oh man, it was so amazing, man. It was really amazing growing up as a young kid, watching. See, I didn't have no older brothers, so it was the guys in the neighborhood, and then my sister's boyfriend. My sister, I got an older sister. She had a boyfriend named Freddie Cotton, and he had all his buddies. They lived in the projects. They lived in the Robert Taylor homes, and he hooped. So he used to take me around with him. I was in my 4th, 5th grade. He used to take me around with him, and I'm watching them play. He'd take me down to the projects, take me out to Southtown. Why? I'm watching all these veterans, all these dudes hoop. I'm like, man, these motherfuckers total, right? I'm like, man, I'm in about 4th, 5th grade. How old are you in 4th, 5th grade? About 9, 10?
Yeah, like, yeah.
So they drugged me around all the way, man, for like 4 or 5 years. Cause she was with for a while, and I got a chance to see some really great ball, especially when I went down to the projects. When I went down to the Robert Taylor homes, they had this court outside called Beethoven. I remember specifically, I was probably about 12 years old by this time. At night, they took me outside to see these street ball players, man. And it was a guy down there named Bo. They called him Bo. Not Bo Ellis, but they called this other dude named Bo. And, man, I seen him come down the court, man, one time, man, and dunked the ball and put his whole arm in the rim. Now, I'm 12 years old. Somebody pissed this man off. He comes down outside on the double rim and put his whole arm on the rim. And everybody just ran out the park. Like, no, he didn't. He didn't just do that. So I was like, wow. So I got a chance to get introduced to basketball in the street first. And I'm glad of that. And that's possibly why I probably didn't play in school, because I fell in love with the street so much because the school was so strict. You see what I'm saying, Mike? Of
course.
Like the freedom of expression. So I still feel like amongst all my friends, I got better than them. Even though they played in school and went to college and did all these things, I played more freely for so long. I had more game. You see what I'm saying? Even when they came back home from college.
Right, because you know what I know. You get your credibility on the street.
Once you get your credibility on the streets, man, I'm a playground legend, man.
See? You know
I'm
what I'm saying?
Jordan. I'm the Michael Jordan of my in tell y'all, in my park, I'm the greatest player they ever said. They say all the shorties, I'm the man. I'm league dude. But I also took it. Like you say, like you hear people say they wear that with a badge of honor, right? So once I identified myself and say, this is what I want to do, I want to play in the streets, I started carrying myself like a street pro. You feel me? Getting there early, stretching before I play. You know what I'm saying? The things that pros do.
Right.
It's the same thing, right? And I prided myself in not losing. I always when I come to the park and play, I got to get my first game. If I get the first one, I know I can win 3, 4 in a row. After that, y'all can have it after that, And yeah, but street basketball in Chicago really, really cultivated what you see a lot of, I would say, in Chicago. When you see in pros like Derrick Rose. I mean, look at Derrick Rose. He from Inglewood. You know what Inglewood is? That's on the South Side. That over there, the little ghetto part over there by Simeon. Not far from Simeon. It's the ghetto. It's rough. And he comes from the belly of that. So it shows in his game when you see him, right? And then you got Mark Aguirre and Isaiah, West Siders. Cold. Both of them. 1 and 2 in the draft in the 80s. Ain't nobody did that yet, but
you cannot. Hell no. Hell no.
Still ain't no city did that yet since 2 of their players 1 and 2 in the draft. So I don't want to over talk you because I can talk about Chicago all day. So you got questions you ask, I talk about Chicago.
Since I got you on, I got one of my people on. I got to ask you a couple of things.
Let's go.
Even though you didn't experience it, what would you think it must have been like? I'm gonna go with my boy, my dog, my heart and soul. What do you think it must have been like for someone like Isaiah Lord Thomas growing up in Chicago, going to St. Joseph's and that experience, and then of course Arthur going there as well? What do you think it must have been like for them at that stage?
I tell you what, it had to be a culture shock, and I know it had to be a little because I experienced the same thing because I went to an all-boys school coming out. Is St. Joe's an all-boys school or co-ed? It was co-ed, right?
Yeah.
I think it was co-ed. So I went to all-boys school where we had the Catholic fathers and all that. So it was very strict, kind of like Pinkerton, very strict. And I tell you, man, for Isaiah Thomas, it probably worked perfectly for him and Arthur Agee. Only thing I saw in that documentary was that it really broke my heart. I'll be honest, man. If you ever watched the entire thing, man, I got a chance to watch the entire thing, and I'm not speaking badly about it, but I just didn't like the way Pinkerton handled Arthur Agee. Once it didn't seem like he was panning out the way that he thought he would, and then he started running into financial issues. And the way he was riding the bus all the way, man, to how far he had to travel to go to school and stuff, and then the way they just kind of like kicked him out of school, and that really hurt me right there, that part of that show. So I think for Arthur Agee, I think it worked better for when he went back home. I think he ended up going to Marshall. And finishing there. I think he a commander. So I believe he ended up going there. And then Isaiah Thomas, of course, you know what he did.
you know that.
Know what he did. He won on every level. And let's just be honest, man. Isaiah Thomas was the bar for all guards in Chicago. If you was a guard coming up in Chicago, he was your guy because he was the first one that we seen patting the rock, handling the rock. He the one gave every kid in Chicago the dream of handling the rock when we was young. Look at Tim Hardaway. He picked it up from there. You see?
Now I'm get you in trouble. I love you, man, but I'm gonna get you in trouble right now. Since I got you on the air, I'm gonna get you in a little trouble.
I like trouble.
How would you compare Chicago in the hood, basketball-wise, to New York City and Rucker and all that? I want to know what your feelings are on that.
It's always going to be an argument, and I can only speak from my own experience. When I went away to college and I was at Jackson State, they had a plethora of guys coming from the East Coast, New Orleans, all through from there, from New York. And we used to meet up at the gym at Jackson State, and I used to wear their ass out. So as far as I'm concerned, we better than them. We better than New York. I like New York guards. They've had a lot of success, and congratulations to that whole Rucker. I've been down there. I had a chance to go down there and see it. They wouldn't let me in. It was too crowded. I was like, man, you know what? They're like, we don't. Okay, I can't get in. But the guy took my camera in there and videoed for me and let me get that. But that right there and stuff, that Rucker, man, is bananas. I don't know if you've ever been there, but they got the big TV trucks outside and all the big Sprite trucks and all of that stuff and Gatorade, all this stuff, man. This is a real movement, the Rucker Park in the summer. They got big sponsorship. They got a real deal right there. Chicago don't have that. We don't have that. And we could. And, it's been many guys in Chicago to come along and do amazing tournaments and summer pro leagues, but we don't have anything like the Rucker. So I will give them that. Man, that damn Rucker Park is a movement, man. I got a chance to go out there, man, when I was out there about 2-3 years ago. And I was like, damn. And it's right in the projects. It's right in the projects, too.
Yes.
It's right in the projects. New York still got a gang of projects just run straight through that mug, man. People, New York still got a gang of projects, boy. Shout out to New York. It's a beautiful city, man. I enjoyed New York when I was there. But as far as our guards, man, we the best, man. I know they got a lot of them. I know they got a lot of them, and I respect all those guys that come from New York that play like Keith Smith, Stephon Marbury. Shoot, we can go back with Kenny Anderson. It's a plethora of them. You know, no disrespect to them, but I think that we got the best.
You know what? I can't argue with you. I mean, you know, Pearl Washington was one of them New York dudes that was off the hook as well. He was off the chain as well. But there's so many, you know what I mean? And you know what I think? I want to get your opinion. You know what? I think you and I were brought up in that era where there was so much talent that I think instead of, you know, always making comparisons, that maybe we should just appreciate the talent that we got to see.
That's right. That's right. Because, you know, there's only so many spots to be they can go pro. So you can't tell me that the NBA got it right every time.
Hell no.
It was dudes walking these streets, man. And I was one of them. To be able to say you just didn't get that break, but you still got to be able to still move the needle and do things that you got to do in your life, you know. And that's another thing that we always had that conversation when we talk to ex-athletes. It's hard making that transition back to humanity and taking that cape off, living a normal life.
You know, Robert, what I like you to do, again, everybody damn knows who you are. But for those viewers who are tuning in who may not know about you, can you, you know, address that issue and let the people know a little bit about you? I know it'll take about 5 hours. Because you know you've done accomplished so many damn things.
You got enough time. I got a lot.
Yeah, you know, hey, let me tell you something though. I'm gonna hit up your boy Arthur and William. I'm gonna get back with them. They'll come back on. We're just gonna have to reschedule.
They probably think it's 6 o'clock. So I would say give it to 6 o'clock, and then if they come, then I'll get out of here and you let them in. But no, if you want to start off fresh, start off. But I can imagine them not. Because they you know, they're men of their words, so I'm thinking they probably had their times twisted. Because I know they do their podcasts and stuff like that. But yeah, man. So basically, I've been doing podcasting here in Chicago. Just so happened this is the last time I've been on this app. So as you see, All Ball Chicago, that was with me and Marcus Liberty. We did that show for 3 years, man. We was able to compile. Man, I can't even begin to think about how many shows we did and how many people we touched and. It was just an amazing show, man, to do it with Marcus, man. And me and Marcus, we have been buddies for quite some time. So doing the show was very easy, you know. And he opened up, you know how people be like, when you watch those videos and you might see somebody do a new move and people like, damn, he just unlocked a new move. Well, Marcus Liberty unlocked a whole new channel of basketball in Chicago when we started All Ball Chicago because there was no other show in Chicago with an athlete of his level doing anything like it. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We talking about #1 player in the nation.
That's why I wanted to bring up. People probably don't know about him.
Marcus Liberty, #1 player in the nation. He was the LeBron James of his era. I mean, parade All-American. I mean, just everything, man. The guy committed to Syracuse to play for Boeheim when he went down there. He was going to be playing with Derek Coleman and Billy Owens and all of them. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine Marcus Liberty there? And we had that conversation, man. Like, if he'd have went there, he probably wouldn't have never been here because he'd have been out there with DC and all of them. So, you know, God, how you do what you're supposed to do. So, yeah, I did a show with him, and then I've done a couple of shows. I did quite a few shows with Big Mark, of course, you know, Big Mark Aguirre. Did quite a few shows with him. That's another guy, man. I had an opportunity to pick his brain and to pick Mark Aguirre's brain. You're talking about somebody that played against Larry Bird, Kevin McHale. You know, he called Kevin McHale Minnesota tall. Like, these are the stories that you don't even know unless you're
exactly.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Mark Aguirre is by far, to me, honestly, is the greatest basketball player and sports athlete to come out of Chicago. Hands down. Homegrown, you know, played at DePaul, did it here.
Yes, home.
You know, put DePaul on the map, you know. Now, my boy Montel Ice Griffin will argue that. Montel Ice Griffin will argue that he's the greatest athlete out of Chicago. He's the most decorated. you know, because he's boxed. So he got a lot of stuff here. Olympic gold medalist, and he ain't done an Olympic medalist. I think he won the silver medal because he ended up losing to that Russian. But so yeah, and then I've done some shows with Martell Ice Griffin, ex-professional lightweight heavyweight champion of the world. Great guy. Went to high school with me at Simeon. I've been knowing Martell since I was about 15 years old. We used to ride the bus together. So it's just crazy, man, how I've been able to be right around these guys, man, you know, that has done great things. And that means I've done some great things myself. And of course, the culture ain't never going nowhere. I still be pumping the culture up, man. I still pump it up. Where is it?
Go ahead, talk about that.
This is the culture, man. It's the world's first coaching device. I changed it. I rebranded it. It was the world's first social distance device, but it's the world's first coaching device. And man, I tell you, I'm in the gym refereeing every day, and I'm trying to see what they're gonna do with this tariff because I got a shipment right now on hold to see how much they're gonna charge me to ship it over there. Because I got some new ones. They black, and but I'm in the gym all the time refereeing. I see coaches screaming their brains out. And you referee, you know what I'm talking about. That's not right. Screaming all day long. So when I put the coach on, they like, what's that? It's not one person in there that will not come up to me. It's like, what's that? You know, people, they love gadgets. So when I get this black one, it's a wireless headset and a waist amplifier, capable of amplifying your voice 500 square feet. You know, it's one of the greatest creations since sliced bread. I just think that it hadn't gotten to the right hands yet. So when it do, I know I'm not giving up. I'm staying with it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is for my great grandbabies to be able to eat off of, you know? So
now,
go ahead.
Now, you know what? If I know, because I received it and it's phenomenal. But if I don't know how good it worked, how would that help me? How would that help the average person, or how would that help a coach or a teacher or someone who gives inspirational talks or lectures, etc.?
Well, you figure a lot of times you're in the room. I'm trying to see if I got one right there. If I can grab right quick. Hold on, I got one right here. Let me grab it.
Hold on a second, y'all. Hold on a second.
All right. There we go. Is the battery dead on the mind? Oh, dang. Let me see. Maybe I got one headphone.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about Bobby Reed. My man, he goes out there and give lectures to kids. He referees. He's big time into real estate. I mean, my man's had a phenomenal career, and he's just a damn good person. And again, to give me the opportunity to come on the air, that was one of my very first shows. I was a little bit nervous. I was a little bit, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And, going on his show, it just, I guess gave me some inspiration to do what I do now. So again, I got to give my props to my man, Robert Bobby Reed.
And I appreciate that, my brother. I really do. The good thing about it is you don't have to have the headphones that, like, if you buy 3 of these, you can use any headset with the device. You know what I'm saying? And they like, oh, Lord, this headset don't go with that one. It's universal, baby. So it is right here. Here's the culture. One of the sponges is on the other one, but the culture is the world's first. There we go. All right. So as you can see, this is the world's first coaching device. It's a wireless headset and a waist amplifier, capable of amplifying the voice 500 square feet. Can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you great.
Yeah, so as you can see, if you're in the gym and you coaching all the time, you screaming all the time, this will help you. You could just use it in practice. Don't even use it at the game. Just use it in practice. You know, because coaches spend 100% of their days at coach using it at practice, using their voice. You got to be able to find a supplemental, something to supplement that. So this headset this is it right here. It just fit right on top of your head. You can wear this thing on your waist. It go right on your waist. It's a strap that you can strap it. Dimitri, What up, Dimitri? You can strap it right here. You can strap it right here, you know. So yeah, that's the culture, baby. And Dimitri, he a big supporter. He done got a couple of them from me, man. Dimitri, I appreciate you, boy. That's my man right there. So the culture, man, is one of those genius ideas, man, that God put in my heart. And from there, it's been up. It's been up from there. It's been up, man. And I appreciate all the support. But this is just this. So I got another one coming. It's black. The culture black, baby. I'm just trying to see what they're gonna charge me on the tariff side of the game.
Yeah,
we got all tariff tax.
Yeah, they. That tariff shit, man.
Got them tariffs, man. Ain't nothing we can do about it, man. Ain't nothing we can do, right? We just gotta make our adjustment.
Now, how can people get a hold of you who might want to purchase the culture? And I'm telling you, folks, it's worth getting. It's not that expensive. It's reliable and it's conducive to whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're giving a speech, a lecture, like as Robert Bobby said, you know, whether it be in a practice situation or you know, you teacher or whatever the damn thing you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to say your voice, so you want to make sure you go to www.culturedevices.com and you can get one from there. The website is under construction. I got a guy working on it, so it should be back up next week. But these Culture Black, the new one, man, it's gonna freak you out because the thing to it, I know people like gadgets. Hey, you got the Gates them coming in, man.
Oh,
let me get up out of here, man. I'm out of here, man.
What's going on, man?
I told him y'all was thinking 6 o'clock. He thought y'all was doing for 5 o'clock. So I was just warming it up.
It was 6 o'clock. It was 6 o'clock.
That's what I thought. Well, man, God bless y'all, man. I'm up out of here, man. I was just warming it up for y'all, man.
Brother, I'll get back with you, man. I'll get back with you.
Y'all have a good one, fellas.
All right, brother.
You know, folks, this is my man, William Gates, star of the movie documentary Hoop Dreams. And, you know, I'm honored and privileged to have you come on my show. I knew the time thing was going to be a little bit difficult. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
sir. Yes, sir.
while I was waiting for y'all to come on, I was trying to, you know, hold it back and let you all talk. You know, hopefully Arthur comes on. I hope so. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, he'll be here.
All right, great. Now wait. Now I know about you because, you know, I have an affinity for Chicago basketball. And of course, I watched the movie Hoop Dreams. And even though I was a little bit older when I checked it out, to me, it was an inspiration. It was a true story. But what I wanted you to do before Arthur comes on is talk about your upbringing. Talk about the grind when you were younger before the movie came out. I want folks and the viewers to know about you before the movie.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Well, man, listen, I'm born and raised in Chicago, was born in Cook County Hospital. Grew up in Cabrini Green. You know, man, most folks know Cabrini Green for 2 reasons. One, if you ever seen the movie Good Times, then that's right. Cabrini. And also the movie Candyman, that's Cabrini. So growing up there, man, it was like a double-edged sword where you knew what existed, but it built you at the same time. So I kind of grew up in that kind of environment where, you know, you had to be ready for anything, but you also felt loved by everything. So it was crazy, man. I mean, I just remember, you know, growing up, being the youngest of 6, single parent home, watching mom at times do double shifts, man, just to make it happen, keep the family going. And if it wasn't for the game of basketball, if it wasn't for my older brother Curtis, having his own hoop dreams, man, I honestly believe that things could have been completely different from my life.
Wow. Okay, so your brother was the inspiration for you to play basketball. Talk about when you felt that you had some game.
Well, interesting enough. Well, let me take a little bit further back because Kurt
Okay.
introduced me to the game. I was about 5 years old, and it actually happened inadvertently because he had to babysit me, but he wanted to hoop. He wanted to play with his friends up on the basketball court. So he took me, man, and I just remember being at 5 years old, sitting on a crate at the playground, watching him
Okay.
play, and I was like, man, I want to play. I want to play. So I begged him the whole time he was out there, running up and down the court. And man, it wasn't until after a couple of hours he came over and grabbed me, and I still remember this man to this very day. He grabbed me, him and his friends, they picked me up, man, and they let me dunk that thing in the basketball, man. And that changed my world, man. I knew then that I was ready, that I wanted to play the game of basketball. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew I wanted to go back to the court with him the next day. I was ready to go.
Well, we got the other man in the building. We got Arthur Agee in the building. What's going on, my brother?
How you doing, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Again, it's an honor and privilege having you both on at the same damn time. You know what I mean?
That's rare. Hey, that's rare.
I know. I just asked William to go back and talk about his grind growing up before the movie.
Yeah.
Can you do the same thing? Talk about before the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up not too far from my brother here. He was in Cabrini Green. I was in Marshallfield Apartments, right over by Hudson, Cedric, Black Hawk, that whole area. And it was a school right there called Manier. So we lived in those apartments, and I went to that school right across the street. So that's what my whole sports. My mom tried to keep me in a lot of sports, because it was a lot of gang banging, guys getting recruited in gangs and stuff like that. So St. Vincent de Paul, she always used to take me up there so I could play in baseball leagues. I never really could go to Seward Park because they were near the damn projects.
Yeah, he couldn't cross the street.
Yeah, it was like right there, man. So I wanted to play for the Demons, but as soon as I graduated 8th grade, man, I was about to play for the Demons, and then I wound up moving to the West Side.
But we got to take it back further than that, though, Arthur, because a lot of folks don't know, man, that AG and I, we used to play in the same elementary grade school tournament. So we used to play against each other. Yeah. So when you watch the movie, a lot of people didn't know that we knew each other. Even the director and the producers didn't know that we knew each other.
Yeah. So we played in the 8th grade, our 6th, 7th, 8th grade tournament. I used to see Will all the time, big calves and everything. Like he was just a bigger kid, thicker kid than everybody else.
Now, William, how was Arthur back there?
Listen, first of all, Arthur was on. He was on that powerhouse school, Manier, man. They had some of everything over there. I was like, man, what these dudes? Where they breeding these cats from? He talking about I had big calf muscles and thick hands. They had everything over there. But Arthur was the skinny kid, man. He's a skinny kid, quick as lightning, though. Run him down court, man. It just was quick as lightning. But that team he was on, man, that was the only team that we had to contend with in the tournament, man. They was just stacked from top to bottom.
Yep. I remember we had one kid on our team. His name was Sam Canty. He got offered a scholarship to go to St. Mel, but he had one foot in the street.
Yeah.
One foot in basketball.
Sam could play. Interesting enough, Sam's sister, Dominique Canty, actually ended up going to the WNBA.
Brother.
It's an athletic family, man. Just an athletic family.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go. Now we talking about guys in the 4th, 5th, 6th grade. Proceed. Talk about a little bit after that, again, before the movie.
Well, it's interesting. Well, let's take it to 8th grade because interesting enough, in 8th grade, this was the first time that I kind of recognized that I had some talent. Because, when you were in elementary grade school, back then, we're talking about, what, 86, 87. They weren't really recruiting kids like you see in 8th grade now. So
Right.
this was the first time that I had experienced, being recruited. And I still didn't even understand what it was. I was ready to go to my local, neighborhood high school. I was going to go to Wales High School. That's where my whole family went, from my oldest brother down to me. That's where I thought I was going. But it wasn't until St. Joe's showed up and it was like, hey, we want you to come out here and play. De La Salle showed up. All these private, Chicago private Catholic schools started coming to, and Agee, you can tell them too. I mean, the Olivet wasn't like, it was in the hood. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Olivet, man, it wasn't on nobody's radar. Like, we don't even know how people knew where we were at, because here's what folks also don't know about the Olivet. The Olivet was ran by the police department. So we know. So the 18th district.
A health clinic, like everything in there, a gym, like everything in there.
Yeah. So it was like a one-stop shop. So they just happened to run a after school basketball tournament for how many schools was it? About 8 of us in there? 8 or 9?
8 of us, yep. Newberry. Yeah. Schiller, yep.
Schiller was in there. Ogden had a team in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I mean, when we talk about the school, we probably all was less than 2 miles, maybe 3 the most from each other. So we don't even know how schools even heard about us playing basketball over there. But man, next thing we know, they were sitting in the stands watching us play. So that process turned into, Agee and I getting an opportunity to go out to St. Joe's.
Yeah. Now,
the thing that I didn't really know, like, you could actually use this sport for something. We was just playing it just to be playing it. Like, it wasn't no, oh, you're going to the NBA. We wasn't even thinking about that. We played everything anyway. We played baseball, football, just to stay active.
Stay active.
We didn't know we had no talent or that we could take this somewhere until we got to high school.
We could take it even further back than that, Agee. You know what we thought we were going to do when we were growing up? We thought we always going to join the Jesse White tumbling team.
Yeah.
We wanted to do backwards flips. That's what we wanted to do. We weren't thinking about going to play basketball in high school. We was thinking about playing, flipping, because that was the popping thing in the neighborhood. You want to be one of. Go ahead. Go ahead, Agee.
No, I said Jesse White. Then when they was on TV, they was a huge thing to the youth in the community at that time.
Yeah, and if you can get on that team, man, you felt like, hey, you need anything else? Because I mean, man, they flipped everywhere. They was flipping at the Bulls game. They was flipping at Cubs games. They was flipping at the Chicago White Sox game. And then the biggest thing was the back to school parties. Yeah. So the neighborhood used to always host these back to school block parties. And man, the team would come out and just dazzle everybody. I mean, they would be walking on their hands, doing backwards flips, jumping off the trampoline, diving over, man, 18, 19, 20 guys. This was just everybody in the neighborhood wanted to be on the Jesse White tumbling team.
Yeah. Tumbling.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. All right, now we're going to talk about St. Joseph's. I know a little bit about it because one of my favorite ball players of all time, if my memory serves me correct, I think he goes by the name of Isaiah Lord Thomas. And you know what I mean? Now, right? And I happened to have the opportunity to meet him and hang out with him for a little bit. But what I want to know is, you're all from the hood. Now you go to St. Joe's, and I read and I saw the movie, what you had to go through in order to get to St. Joe's every goddamn morning. Can you explain that to the viewers? Uh-oh, here it comes, y'all.
Hey, for me, it was It was an adventure every morning. You didn't know. I ain't know what was gonna go down, how it was gonna happen, how I was gonna get there, but I was gonna get my ass there.
Hey, this dude here, man. He used to ride his bike to school. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
what in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
From the west side
Listen,
of
the
Chicago,
west side of Chicago, man.
Westchester.
It was.
How many miles is that? I mean, so the viewers can get an idea.
Man, it had to be over what? It had to be over 100 miles.
What?
It wasn't 100 miles.
It wasn't 100 miles. hey, just getting out the city to Austin, that's damn near 50 miles.
No, legitimately, it was. Hey, legitimately, it was probably about. It was about 15 miles. It was about 15 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that too.
About 15
what was
miles.
the transition like? I mean, you come from the hood to that environment. How was that? How was?
I think the biggest transition was, man. I know for me, man, the biggest transition was obviously the race factor, man. When you're the only one there, or you look around, even some of the other black kids who were there, I didn't think they were like Arthur and I. Like, we came from the hood. They lived in the suburbs, so we early on we couldn't even connect with them. It was him and I against the world. Like when I saw that dude walk through the door, I was like, all right, I'm good today. That like you needed that being out there. And I think the other element was, man, the structure and the discipline. Man, I was used to a lot more freedom. I was used to being able to express thought. But there, man, you just had to do what they told you to do. You got people. See, people don't recognize St. Joe's. When Agee and I was there, this is old school St. Joe's. We got nuns and priests as teachers. We ain't got regular teachers. These are straight disciplinarians that will pull out a stick on you in a minute, man. Like this was we are old school. We had a teacher named Brother Peter. That joker would take you down to the basement for a boxing match to discipline. You like put the gloves on because we fighting today. I mean, it was crazy, man. Yeah, we had old school.
That's how it was when Isaiah Thomas went there with the race factor, the white and black, the Italians. They had some of every ethnicity at this school, man. But the thing was, I was like, I always had in my head like, I'm confident in myself, so I know I can do the work and I can compete out here with these guys and make this team, and become good. So I had those two things going for me. But then I was a clown too. I used to get in trouble. I used to have Saturday school detention. My freshman year coach was John Hornacek. Jeff Hornacek's dad, who used to play for the Jazz. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So he was our dean of students. So he the one you have to go see him every Saturday morning when you got a detention throughout the week. And they'll give you a detention for if you didn't have an eye.
Anything.
If you wore gym shoes to school, you have to have on dress shoes. If you wore jeans, that's the detention.
Hey,
the dress code was what?
Here's what's crazy, man. That just let you know how I know I wasn't prepared for St. Joe's. The dress code, first day of class, I had on sweats. like I'm looking around like, why everybody else ain't got on sweats? Because when you in the neighborhood, we didn't have a uniform. You wore what you had. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking like, oh man, I got a brand new sweatsuit on. I'm feeling good about myself. And I'm like, snap, first day of school, I got a detention. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
First day of school.
Literally, first day of school, man. I was so broken the first day of school that I was ready to go home and not go back. I remember calling my mother from the school because they used to have a payphone in the hallway. So you go throw a quarter in the machine in the payphone. I remember calling my mother at work, like, Mom, this ain't gonna work. I want to come home because I think what folks didn't recognize too in the movie was throughout my high school career, I didn't live with my mom. I had to go move and live with my sister so I could be closer to school.
Yeah.
So imagine a 14-year-old,
Mm.
leaving 8th grade, going to 9th grade, but you got to leave your mother. And
Damn.
so
Oh,
anything, like they could have said hi. And I'd have been like, no, I want to go back home. I don't like the way they said hi. Like I just wanted to get back home to my family.
Yeah.
But man, I remember even with the discipline, what was interesting was, man, my mother looked at me and said, listen, when you go out there, you keep your head down, you say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, keep your head down because them folks gonna be watching you. And last thing I need for you to get yourself in some trouble and get you in something that you can't get yourself out of. So I went in there, man. AJ tell you, I was quiet in school. I ain't say nothing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't move. You wouldn't even know I was there unless they called my name.
Yeah. So me being there with him, and he would come out. I would get him to come out his shell at intramurals because during intramurals, we can shoot around. We can just throw lobs off the try
Well,
to
that's how we made our money, though.
yeah
AJ and I, we have a whole lot of lunch money. So
yeah
what we would do is the guys didn't know that I could dunk the ball. So AJ would be up in the stands, working the stands, say, I bet my dog can dunk the ball, man. So so we making lunch money. So they'd be like, man, I'll give you $1 if you do this kind of dunk. What $1 at?
yeah.
Hey, we was doing what we had to do, man, to survive there.
Yeah, so I was even selling my 90-cent bus tokens just so I could have something to eat after practice.
damn.
Yeah, people don't even know, man. I was so dedicated to making it out there. I even got a damn job at Jewel's on Manheim. After practice, I would go to work at Jewel's and bag grocery for $3.35, dog. And then ride the bike home and be at home by about
Oh,
8 o'clock. Yeah. That's how bad I wanted it.
Yeah, school was crazy, man. I think we both was up, 4:30 in the morning,
30 in the morning.
on the bus at 5 in the morning, man, trying to get where we're going. And I just remember, man, by the time we got to school started like 8:05. We had like 5 minutes
Yeah.
once we even made it, just to get ready. So I just remember even during the basketball season, man, like I wouldn't even get home till like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It's
now how was because y'all from the hood,
Yep.
and you know how we play in the hood.
Yep.
How was the talent level at the St. Joe's and the teams you played against?
Well, I'll tell you this, from when AJ and we first got there, I remember they had practice because I didn't start on varsity right. I started on what was called the JV team. And so AJ and them was practicing on one end and we was practicing on the other end. And I remember after practice, AJ and I were just sitting around like, man, we're gonna wait and see what the varsity look like. Man, the varsity came out there looking like an NBA professional team. We was like, what in the world? I mean, man, they had on
They got
practice gear.
bright red uniforms on. They got St. Joe's across the front. They got defense screen printed across the ass. The shorts is like panties. Like they short.
Man. And here's the thing too, though,
They
man.
all look in unison. Like they all
They
look
in,
like
they in the layup line looking like a dunk contest. It's like,
Damn.
what is going on? So the basketball team, man, the varsity level.
top notch
I mean, we got there. They were not just the number one team in the state,
in the state.
not the number one team in the city. They're the number one team in the nation.
Yeah.
I mean,
Damn.
St. Joe. Yeah, St. Joe's was they.
I think they
I mean,
I think they had almost like 3 All-Americans coming back that year. We got there.
oh, absolutely.
They got
People don't realize this, man. But my high school career, I only lost 12 games.
Wow.
I lost 12 games in my entire, and all of them were playoff games. Just about. So I'm just saying, I didn't lose. We didn't lose very much at all. And that's on every level. at St. Joe's. Like the freshman team didn't lose very much. The JV team didn't lose very much. I mean, it was a machine. If anybody wanted to know if St. Joseph basketball was a machine, it was a machine. And interesting enough, it wasn't because they were doing great recruiting. Kids actually wanted to go there. I
Yeah.
mean, Isaiah set the standard. Everybody
Right.
came in there. If Zeke could make it from the west side of Chicago, everybody's like, yeah, we can make it too.
Hey,
We can
but
make it
Now
too.
let me ask you all a question.
go ahead.
Now, you were from the hood. You go to St. Joe's. Now you got to go back to the hood for the summer. How was you guys, I guess, treated, knowing that you went across town, when you got them people from the hood who were still there?
Oh well, the hood treated me great. I mean, when I came back to the hood, they embraced me like I was just going to a Catholic school. That's all, because you got to understand, on the west side, if you was able to go to a Catholic school, whether it was academically or athletically, the hood embraced you like that. So the schools in my area was Weber, St. Patrick, St. Mel,
Uh-huh.
and then St. Joe's, out there in Westchester, but that wasn't in our area. But when I got treated the same way, protected. You know what I'm saying?
I say the same thing, man. I actually think, and I still believe this to this very day. Our neighborhood, they were proud of us, man. You know, we weren't the first guys from the neighborhood
Yeah,
to do that.
yeah,
Like, I don't want anybody to think that AG and we created going to Catholic schools from the hood. We didn't do that. We weren't the first guys to even go off to college
yeah,
to play basketball. Like, both of my brothers went and played college ball. Like, a lot of the guys in the neighborhood played college basketball. Interesting enough, for me, man, when I went to St. Joe's, one of the reasons I knew I could play there because I was like, man, a lot of these dudes ain't better than the dudes in my neighborhood. And I'm looking like my hood would get these dudes the fits.
yeah.
So I felt like, man, if I could play in my hood, I could play out here at St. Joe's.
Hey, then it was like this too. So how we played playground basketball. I mean, we played in 8th grade, structured basketball, knew how to pass, cut, screen, and
Right.
all. But when we got to St. Joe's, they had a fucking system already in place. Would you tell them, Will? Like, the point guard is gonna do this, the two
Yep,
guard is gonna do this, the three and on down like that.
that's how it
So
is.
how you
And
have
don't forget, AG, not only the system, but you got St. Joe's, you have to wait your turn.
rate your
It
turn.
wasn't it wasn't like, care how great you was, you had to wait. And a lot of people, they look at the movie and they see my success, they think I got moved up early. It wasn't that I got moved up early. It's just that my sophomore year, there was the only guy ahead of me was a senior. So there was no junior ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked into the success that I had at St. Joe's because um and interesting enough, and that senior, he was a McDonald's All-American. So I had to wait my turn for him to do what he needed to do.
Yeah, yeah. So I ran the offense. I'm gonna do what you tell me to do, but I know we gotta pass that motherfucker about 3 or 4 times before somebody take a shot. Well,
Five.
we're 5. So I'm
Five.
like, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna cut real hard so I can get open. So when it come around for that 4th pass or that 5th pass, I'm shooting it or I'm going to the bucket.
Let me tell you something. I used to hate. I hated half court offense at St. Joe's. Hated it
Hated
because
it.
oh, listen, we ran an Indiana Bob Knight basketball structure. That
Oh,
was our
yeah.
system. It was
Ooh.
pass, cut, back screen, side screen, fade screen, down screen. We screened the mess out of the basketball.
It was a
But
motion and screen offense. And if you
motion
didn't
and screen
if you
offense.
didn't set a correct screen, oh, your ass is out of here.
Like, don't do that little fake screen.
Oh yeah.
Man, Coach stopped the practice. What, you afraid to get hit? Hit somebody. If you don't hit somebody, I'm gonna hit you. Like our practices were intense. Like I've always said this about Coach Ping. He's probably the best coach I've ever had. So that dude, man, and I've had some great coaches, but he was the best coach I ever had because that dude taught me the game, man. Like when I went to college, they didn't have to teach me. Like when I went to college, I was helping my coach out. I was like, hey man, listen, we need to set side screens here, down screens here, back screen. You got to call that stuff out, man. Hey, listen, it's always ball you, man. Come on, listen, dude.
Right.
Defensively, we need to set up here. Like
Right.
I remember, because the way that Ping trained us, he trained us where you knew everybody's position and where they needed to be. So if somebody
Exactly.
wasn't in the right place, you could tell them, "Hey, man, you missed that. I need you to get over there to that corner." Like that's how Payne taught in practice. He was an educator in practice.
And that's where your instinct comes in. Because when you don't have to think about it, it's on instinct, then you're gonna blow up.
Oh yeah, because you could see it before it happened. You you
Exactly.
could
Exactly.
you could read the play, and I think that's what, particularly at that time, I think that's what made St. Joe's so much better than a lot of other programs because the, we pressed you the whole game. It wasn't like we didn't let up. Like I give Ping that. He didn't he didn't play to win. He played to dominate you. Like he wanted to. If he could beat you by 40 in the first half, that's what he wanted. Like we played hard. Like I don't ever remember a day, a game where you know. And I used to feel sorry for Agee because he had the dean of discipline as his coach. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I was like, how in the world you playing for Coach Hornacek? Like, man, like,
Hey,
like,
but
like
me,
if you
hey,
saw Coach Hornacek,
me and my boy Greg Buchanan, Chris Baines, man, all us, and he knew we could play, so he just set up, he put us in the right position to be successful. I think we won
Right.
I think we only lost like 3 games my freshman year.
y'all won the conference. But the crazy thing was when you saw Coach Hornacek, man, he looked like one of
Yeah.
them
Wow.
old school cop coaches, no nonsense, like scare you, just pure intimidation when you see this dude, man.
Yeah.
Like he walked through the school looking like he was looking for the wrong. Like I know you're doing something wrong. You're like, just walk
Right.
through the door. And his office was located where you had to walk past it.
Had
Like
to.
you like when the bell ring, you exchange classes. That joker standing out there in the hallway like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, dude, what's like there was no fights in the school, man. You have to worry about that. You have to worry about that, man. Listen, they had that stuff on lock, man. They had it on lock.
All right, now, so we know that you both were very talented.
Mhm.
Now, let's proceed a little bit further. Now, what happened after that? Before the movie, now, before we get to the movie.
Uh, what you mean? Hold on, say that again. Like before.
Because the movie actually, our
We're
freshman
doing
year,
it during that time.
that's when the movie started.
Yeah, the movie
And the
started.
movie, you guys, it was filmed like for a 6-year period. Am I right?
Yeah.
It was like 4 years. So interesting enough, when you see AG playing against Isaiah Thomas at the beginning of the movie, that's when filming actually started.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So that was what we call eighth grade summer,
Yeah.
and into the fall,
Seven.
going into ninth grade. So they were there, our entire 4 years of high school. So this was happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you another question. Now, I'm being like I don't know, but I know. Y'all know I don't. How the hell did you all get involved in hoop dreams? How did it all begin? Let the viewers know, because some of them, ain't old as we are, so they may not know, or they may not have seen the movie. and I'm here to give both of y'all your flowers. So, I'm gonna sit back and let you all do the damn thing.
So this how it started. I'm at Delano Playground. I'm 14 years old. I just graduated 8th grade, and this the summer. It's the summer of '87. So these three filmmakers and Earl Smith, the talent scout, they show up to Delano Playground, and they were pulling out cameras and stuff, setting them up, just trying to get some footage of guys playing in the playground basketball. And so their whole thing was they wanted to do a PBS special about how inner city basketball was played on the in the playground, and seeing if they was going to go to different courts and pick about 2 or 3 guys from different courts to see if they're able to go and play structured basketball. So that's how I started out. So they see me at Delano Playground on the west side, and I go up to him like, what are y'all doing? And he was like, oh, and he explained it. Oh, we just we are a nonprofit organization. Just we getting some footage. We got a project we thinking about doing, and we just getting some footage of you guys playing basketball. So Earl Smith was the one who started talking to me, and was like asking me, how old am I, what school I'm going to, and all of that. And so that's how that started, the dialogue. And then I guess he told Steve James and them, the filmmaker guys, yo, I think this is a pretty good kid right here. He got a quick first step. Like, I think y'all should use him. Steve and them wasn't really sold on me because they thinking I'm short, I'm skinny, you know what I'm saying? They was like, this guy, you for real? He was like, yeah, let's. So they said the next day, meet me at the playground and take me to go meet your mom because we want you to be part of this project and we would love to get her permission and meet them. And that's what I did. So I think like the next week is St. Joe's basketball camp is happening. And Earl Smith tells me and my parents, hey, I want to take Arthur out to St. Joe's to this basketball camp so he can, so the coaches can see him play. So they was like, okay. And the cameras followed me and my family out there. Unbeknown to me, William had been at the camp all week.
Okay.
Now, Will.
So I'm at the camp all week long. As a matter of fact, the camp was ending that week. I've been there for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Camp was ending that week. And the second week of camp, Isaiah Thomas always comes back and speak to the kids. So when you see Agee playing Isaiah, that's when I saw him when he walked in. I was like, Agee, what you doing here?
Yeah.
He's like, oh man, I'm here to, because I didn't know he was coming out that way, just like he didn't know I was already out there.
Yeah.
So he's playing against Isaiah, but at this point, I had no dealings with Hoop Dreams. I didn't even know what he was doing with the camera. I just saw camera. I didn't know what was going on. So they go and talk to Coach Ping. So Earl introduces Steve, Peter, and Fred to Coach Pingator. And Coach Ping, interesting enough, who's kind of become like the villain in the movie, says, hey, listen, I see what you guys are doing. Y'all watching our kids go from street ball to organized basketball. He said, well, listen, I got a kid that's coming here from Cabrini Green. Y'all might want to talk to him. So Coach Ping actually introduced me to the filmmakers, and they were like instantly right away, can we follow you?
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta ask my parents. I don't even know what y'all doing. So they actually the next day, they actually came out to my house to get permission to start filming. That's why in the movie you don't see me playing against Isaiah because I wasn't filming at the time. So I was already committed going to St. Joe's.
Yeah.
But I was glad that my dog was going to St. Joe's because I didn't want to be the only one out there.
Right.
When he found out like they was going to accept me in school, like I was going to be out there, he kind of got a little happy. He was like, okay, yeah, I think I'll be able to with this.
Oh, I was trying to call him all summer, man. You heard anything? What's going on, man? You still going? You going? Because Because, anytime, man, you're going to do something new, and there's always a little that's that eeriness, that unexpectedness in you. Like, man, I don't know. Can I really
Mhm.
make it out here? Can I really do this? I'll be honest with you, 14, man. I wasn't ready to try to do life alone. I was like,
Hey, let me tell you one thing that stuck with me. When I first met them, and they were so eager to meet my parents and have me be a part of this project, I always said to myself, like, this shit just didn't happen for no reason. Like, something gonna happen with this. Somewhere down the line, I just need to make sure that I don't get in trouble or whatever. Like, but don't no white folks come in the neighborhood and put a camera on you, and like, do they see something in me that I don't see? I'm like, it's something gonna happen with them filming me. I said, I'm just gonna stay the course. But then when I
see,
got
I didn't understand it at all. I didn't know what they were trying to do, going from street ball to organized basketball. Because what a lot of people don't know, they said they was only going to be shooting for 2 weeks.
yeah,
So it's supposed to be a 2-week project, and actually, it wasn't even called Hoop Dreams.
wasn't
It was
called.
called Higher Goals.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be a 2-week filming, gonna play on PBS at some point. At some point, we hoped. And after 2 weeks of filming, they came back to both of our families and said, "Hey, man, we think we got something more here.
yep,
Would y'all be open to filming a little longer?" And a little longer turned into 4 years. So,
yeah,
so they literally stopped filming both of us in our freshman year of college, like our first home games, stuff like that.
yeah. So,
What was it like having cameras on you all the time?
well, I can let me I can speak for me, because I was a little bit more outgoing, and I was a TV person. So I always wanted to be an actor, a kid actor. Different Strokes, all my TV shows. What's Happening? I used to be like, damn, how you become a kid actor? Like, I could do that shit. So anything with TV cameras, like I said, that shit just stuck with me. So when it came around, I was just like, shit, I'm gonna just be myself. Like, I ain't gonna
Right.
I ain't gonna put on no front. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to turn into somebody else. I wouldn't know who else to be but me.
See, I didn't care because my agenda and my focus didn't change. I went out to St. Joe's, man, to try to make the league so I can get my family out of the hood. So them filming that didn't bother me at all. But my focus was that. Go to school, keep my head down, get good grades, try to get in a great college, and then go to the league. That was the focus. That was the path I was on. So I really wasn't even thinking about the cameras. I really didn't recognize the cameras until um, my going into senior year when I was at the Nike camp. Funny enough, having the cameras there made me more popular. Because I'm the
Right.
only
Right.
guy down there with a camera crew. They were like,
Right.
"Who's this
Right.
dude with his own
Right?
camera crew?" So I'm
Right.
sitting down there. It was like it instantly drew attention from me. So
Yeah.
that was like one of the first times I was like, "Oh, this ain't really that bad." But yeah, man, I didn't mind it. Now I will say there were times when they got stuff you wish they didn't get,
Right.
but
Of course.
there was nothing you can do. There was nothing you can say because you can't be like, "Oh man, can you turn that camera off right now?" Because they probably would have recorded that too.
Yeah.
So that I think for both of us, we had those moments, man, where we like, dang,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want ready for the world to see all of that. I even think at a young age, being 15, 16, 17, I think we still was consciously aware of our issues inside of our households.
Yeah. And
Now they filmed like 200 hours of film on you guys, right? Something like
400.
that. 400.
yeah,
400.
Oh,
that was only what they released. 200
Right.
hours.
oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
So it was 4 hours. Hoop Dreams is 3 hours long. They shot over 400 hours. So that means there's 397 hours of footage still out there somewhere.
Yeah. On the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
So let me before we go into I guess some of the more interesting parts, I guess, of both of y'all. What do you think inspired you guys to keep doing what you were doing? And in other words, when I'm saying, okay, you guys were doing the movie, you guys, you knew that they a lot of people felt you were special, but did you think, even though y'all were in the movie, okay, the movie's one thing. Did you all think you had enough talent to go to college and play at a higher level, a D1 level, etc.?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
I know, but I'm just saying for the viewers.
When I say at 16, that's when I really believed it, and I really fell in love and chronicled Isaiah Thomas's path. I said, I'm doing exactly what Zeke did.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not maybe go to school for 2 years and then leave, but I was like, this is my path to get to a free education, get a scholarship, and I've been battle tested all across the city of Chicago. So I know I'm good enough to obtain a scholarship somewhere.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. All I did was sleep, eat, drink, basketball. That was the goal. That was the plan. Listen, I felt like at one point in my basketball athletic career, I believe if I don't get hurt, I felt like I was becoming good enough that I could have left high school and went into the league. I felt like I was on that kind of path. Like when
Damn.
I was a freshman, I was the best freshman in the state. When I was a sophomore, um, regardless of class, I was top 25, regardless of class in the United States. So I knew the trajectory that I was on. I just needed to stay healthy. That was that was my thing. I knew what was in front of me. I knew what was out there. I saw myself playing in the league. I saw it. I would dream about it. I saw it.
Looking back now, years later, do you think that now, that if you didn't get injured, that you might have made it to the league? Do you think
Oh,
that now?
absolutely, absolutely. You know, hate to take a steal a line from my brother Curtis, but I know this game so well in my mind, I can play it backwards. And like even when I watch the game right now, it doesn't take me long to figure out who can and who can't play. Like I don't even need to see a kid shoot. When I see a kid walk in, I can look at him and see if that kid got game or not. Like when I tell you that Agee and I, people don't recognize this. And we love this game so much that we dedicated so much of our time. People don't understand how much basketball we played every day. And of course, I know when people see the movie, especially when it comes to me, people are like, Will, we see that you lost love for the game. It wasn't that I lost love for the game. I hated um, the because of the injury, couldn't play at the level that I was used to playing at. So I was mad at myself, not the game.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was mad at. But I never forgot the path that I was on because at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm still going to a Division 1, you know, high major college, even with a bum knee. So I know if the knee wasn't there, my path would have been completely different.
Yeah.
Tell the viewers a little bit about your injury.
Well, what happened was I had tore my cartilage. You know, back in 1987.
You
I
said,
mean, they
yeah,
or 80. I think it was 89. They didn't really have like the stuff you have now. Like people
right.
tear their college and they playing in 2 weeks. You know, so what they tried to do was they said, well, we don't want you to have arthritis when you get old. So they tried to stitch the cartilage back together. So they tried to sew it back together. And what it did was it kept getting trapped in my knee. So the first surgery that I had on it, they went in, man, like I got a big gas slice on my, because they had to cut you open and get in there, sew it up, fix it, which kept me out for like 3 months, almost 4 months actually.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I came back, because the surgery didn't work, I actually ended up re-injuring the same knee and had to have
Mhm.
another surgery at the end of the season
Yeah.
after that. So, you know, I'm 17 and I already had two major surgeries,
Yeah.
on my knee already.
Now, prior to that, I know back then, I mean, the way the scouting was then and the way it is now, did that derail your scholarship offers?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what happened. So going into that summer, they already knew that I had knee surgery. So when my senior year, going into my senior year, I was the fifth ranked player in the United States. When they knew about the injury, I dropped from 5 to 25 instantly, simply because of the injury. So when I went to Nike camp,
Yeah.
and this is still what a lot of people don't recognize, even though I was still injured and hurt and those kind of things, I still played well. Because back then, how they did it was they picked you by how you became a McDonald's All-American was you had to be one of the top 25.
In
And
your
so that was in your class. So what they did was whoever was the best 25 players in there, so that's first
Mhm.
team, second team, 15. Well, I ended up making 16, which I'm still proud of that. I'm like, I was still one of the top
Right.
30 best players in the camp, and I didn't even complete the full camp. So it was, but I knew in my mind the struggle for me was not being able to do what I knew I could do on the basketball court. Like my athleticism, I didn't have the same athleticism. I wasn't jumping the same. I wasn't shooting the same. Like the game really was kind of easy for me because I could see things before they were happening. And then, and I didn't, and this is why I even help guys now who have injuries. One of the things I like to do help guys who have injuries, I like to help them get it back. Back then, I didn't know how to get it back.
yeah.
And when I
How did it
discovered,
affect your mental? How did it
oh,
affect your mental?
man, Agee, now we talked about this a long time ago. Man, we didn't know nothing about mental health back in the days. We
Right,
just
right.
you just process your pain and your hurt.
Yep.
And this is the way that I used to process my mental health back in those days. The basketball court was my outlet.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So
right.
that's where I would go. So when your outlet can't be your outlet, I had no place to go with it.
Yeah.
Right.
So my grades suffered, uh, my relationships suffered. You know, like I was a kid, I needed basketball to keep me going. Whereas,
Mhm.
you hear a lot of teachers say, "Well, I'm gonna take basketball away from you if you don't get good grades." I was like, "No, I'm the opposite of that.
Mm.
Basketball helped me get good grades,
Yeah.
Right.
and because I couldn't play basketball, I didn't want to get good grades. Like my mental was like there was this block that I couldn't see past. Um, I want to say when I going into my senior year, I couldn't see past all of the stuff that I've been through, and I didn't know how to overcome that.
Mm.
Damn, damn. Now, let's go back to you now.
Yeah.
Talk about your situation.
Yeah. I mean, mine was just I had to leave school, Pinga toward them, my mom had lost her job. We was paying half of the tuition and St. Joe's was paying half. And then it came to a point to where my mom lost her job and I had to leave. So I wound up, transferring to Marshall, you know, wound up getting over in there. The freshman coach, knew of me, transferring in prior to me transferring in. So, the season was already started. So he put me right on the team. So I come right on the team, just trying to gel in with the guys who was there. And my whole thing was just to fight to make a name for myself. Do whatever I have to do. Go play wherever I have to play whoever I need to play. I want to guard the toughest dude in here. Why? because everybody gonna be looking at me guarding that toughest dude in here. So now that testing me, that testing my heart, that testing my
Right.
I get to test all my stuff, reaching, all this type of stuff out. So about time my senior year rolled around, I hadn't got really, really good. And people was noticing. So I was just like, well, let me just make sure that I'm able to pass the ACT test, SAT test, so I can be able to get a scholarship and take one if somebody offered it to me. So that was my whole thing, man. Just hard work. Uh, just getting out there playing, whether it was outdoors on the playground, playing in different leagues. Like we'll say, we just played from sun up to sundown with no trainers. The trainers was the guys out there, the OGs, the ones that older than you, like that, the drug sellers, the guys that's doing this and that, but they still cold ass ballers that you
That's
got.
right. Hey, listen, I still believe this, Agee, that we talk about this all the time. If you don't understand, no blood, no foul, you ain't never played street ball.
Well, we know about that.
Because that's how the grind was built in us.
Yeah.
And I've always applauded, man, AG for this. I think a lot of people don't understand, man, this transition going back to Marshall coming from St. Joe's, just on every level, man. Like he could have took that as if, man, I'm not good enough. He could have took that as if, man, y'all don't care about me. I'm not valuable.
Right.
Even going there,
Yeah.
the people there could have been like, hey, man, dude, I knew it, but he felt love when he went back. And I don't think I've ever told you this, AG, but I appreciate the fact that when you went back, man, that they put love on you and didn't make you feel like an outcast when
Okay.
you came back.
Mm-hmm.
Because truth be told, man, I felt like more of an outcast out at St. Joe's.
Mm.
Even though, I was playing ball out there and everything, but
Yeah.
I knew all of my stuff was contingent on me playing ball. I was I was I was aware of that. I knew I was out there because I was a really, really good basketball player and no other reason why.
Now, after you suffered that injury and you still, ended up playing, how did you feel? Like you said, you didn't have the athleticism that you had prior to the injury, like of course. And back in them days, they didn't have all the new technology that they have right now. And did you think you would get an opportunity to maybe go to the? Because back then, folks, I
I
don't know if y'all
did.
don't know, they really wasn't no damn CBA really back. But when I played, there was no damn CBA and GBA and G League. There was none of that. You had to
Right.
go overseas or whatever. So what did you think? What was going through your mind
I
after you
actually
done
did.
something?
I thought after, our senior year, we go into college. I kind of in my mind, I tried to say, okay, this is going to be a fresh start for me. I'm gonna go up here to Marquette. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna try to rediscover who I used to be. Because even when you get up on campus, man, you playing ball right away. So you getting right into it. And I actually was playing really well. The problem was the knee just couldn't hold up.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
so every time I tried to do the thing that I knew in my mind and my heart that I could do, the body wouldn't allow it. So what I ended up doing in college, just to get on the court because I knew how to play defense, I used that as my calling card. So I said, you know what? Let me be a defensive stopper out here, and I know that can get me on the basketball court. If you play defense, they're gonna find a way to play
Oh
you,
yeah. Oh yeah.
and that's what ended up happening. Like at Marquette, we ran a three-guard offense because I knew how to play defense.
Number 22, we need you to guard Anthony Hardaway.
Yeah, I'm out there. I'm playing. Hey, it's the truth. I'm guarding Penny. I'm guarding
Oh
Penny.
shit.
I'm I'm
What?
I'm I'm guarding Nick Van Exel.
Grant
You
Hill.
know, I'm guarding
Oh,
Grant Hill. So because defensively, I understood the game. I understood the game. You know, I had to play the small forward spot. You got three guards. Somebody got to guard the 6'7"
right.
wing, the 6'6" wing, and it was me.
Yeah.
And I was strong too. Like, you know, I was strong.
Yeah.
Now, what about you, Arthur? What about you now? They talk about your collegiate career.
Oh man, I went to junior college first. Show kids that you still can. You ain't got to go D1 right out of high school. You can go to junior college, keep your nose clean for 2 years, and brought a conference championship to that school. Was able to get my bachelor's degree at Middle Area Junior College. Uh, Man, we did some winning down there, and because I went there, I opened the door for a lot of other young guys from Chicago that wasn't able to go D1 right out of high school. They said, I'm going to go Agee them route. Agee did pretty nice down that Middle Area. I'm going to follow him down there. So we had a slew of Marshall guys, a pipeline coach had built, coming from Chicago just because I had set the standard down there. Like, man, you can come down here, you know, get you some money for both of your semesters, maybe buy you a car, keep your nose clean. You could graduate, with your bachelor's degree and whatever, and you move on to the next. If you did good, you going up out of here with two of your college years completed with a bachelor's degree, on track to graduate from a 4-year university, and then, Lord beholds, Dickie Nutt from Arkansas State came and recruited me and my boy Yaki Saunders to come to Arkansas State down in Jonesboro. So that's why I finished my career up at playing for Nelson Catalina. Great coach. Did pretty good down there. I averaged about 8 points, about 6 assists. I was across the board and 5 in all categories. But it was a mid-major. But the funny thing was, I didn't let none of that still stop me. I said, if I got to go to CBA route, if I got to go to USBL route, if I got to go whatever damn route, overseas route, I'm going
Right.
to keep knocking on the door until I sniff somewhere around the NBA.
Right.
I got drafted number 1 for the Florida Sharks for the USBL league. And that coach woke me up to what it was to play semi-pro, Eric Musselman. He did not like rookies. And let me tell you who was on my team at that time. You had your boy Jay Edwards from Indiana. All the dudes who had played in the NBA, like in that early 80s, late 90s, all them guys now was outside of the NBA. Charles Smith that played at Georgetown. Wes Matthews that played for the Los Angeles Lakers. All these dudes was on my Florida Sharks team. And so he was just treating me like a rookie, bro. And I'm just like soaking it all in, just not, talking back, not trying to be uncoachable. But it got to a point to where I understood the business of it, because Hoop Dreams is huge. They're using me and my name to promote this new team. And so I'm going around Florida at different car dealerships doing autograph signings. I'm getting paid for them, but I'm like, fuck this. I want to play ball. Like,
Right.
So I called my daddy, and my daddy was able to get in touch with with this team in New York called the New York Long Island Surf of the USBL. Ed Krinsky of that team, GM, general manager, traded for me. So I left up out of there from Florida, and I went up to the USBL, and I get up there. It's even more competition up there. I got to prove myself. All these dudes was telling me was, dude, all you got to do is grind and keep getting better, Agee. You good on defense. You got long arms. You just got to keep working on your shot. George Johnson was my head coach for the 2 years that I played for the Long Island Surf. Cedric Cornbread Maxwell was my coach. And then George Johnson played with Dr. J with the 76ers was my coach. And they all used to call me Hoop Scoop. Yeah.
Man, we done running out of time. I got to get you all back on again. But before we go, a couple questions I want to As you reflect on doing Hoop Dreams, what do you think were the pros and cons? And if you had to do it again, would you?
Oh man, yeah, I definitely would. You know, number one, it was groundbreaking. You know, there was documentary filmmaking before, but there was nothing done like this with the backdrop of two African American kids that had the same dream, that come from the same streets, the same neighborhood, and you know, both of them are the same, but they got different things about them. You know what I'm saying? That they
Right.
so I would say the pros would be uh, storytelling. We always gonna need, and this film showed me that me and William Gates' story is never over. It just evolves into other things. But the pros would be that it's storytelling. You get to tell your story, especially African American stories. How many stories that have been sunk and put under everything, and for us not to find them. And then I hate that I find out some about some great African American when I'm this age. You know what I'm saying? So the
Right.
pros of it is storytelling and getting that story out there, because we know a lot of people relate to what we're going through. The
Right.
cons, I mean, the con would be understanding the business that you got yourself in, which is filmmaking, entertainment, understanding that whole thing before you sign on the dotted line.
What about you?
I agree with AG. I think what Hoop Dreams did, man, it opened up doors for us beyond our wildest dreams. It made connections with us that people we never thought we would ever be able to make connections with, man. And especially at the height of Hoop Dreams. I mean, the things that we were privy to, man, was just a blessing. I think if I would say as a con, I would always go back to like AG was saying, man, we didn't know, and our families really didn't know the business side of it. And when I'm talking about making money off of it,
Yeah.
uh,
Right.
Hoop Dreams made at that time for a documentary more than any other documentary has ever made. And and the safest way to say is that AG and I didn't get a majority of that. We got
Uh,
paid, but
right.
I think what the movie has turned into, what the movie has meant, I believe AG and I should have gotten a whole lot more than what we did.
And,
And and
and,
that's
and to
that's
add,
really been disappointing.
to add to what William is saying, that had we understood the business of it, we would have knew what to ask for.
But not only that, we were also up against it because you got to remember there were no NILs back then.
Yep.
So when
Nope.
Hoop Dreams came out,
Yep.
AG and I actually we lost our college scholarships. The NCAA said, "Oh, y'all got a movie," so they took our college scholarships away, and we had to get lawyers so we can get our college
Oh,
scholarship back.
shoot.
And so the NCAA said, "Well, guess what? This is what we'll do. We'll let the movie come out, but y'all can't get paid for it."
Meaning that me and Will can't go on no talk shows to promote the movie.
Right. Couldn't promote the movie.
We can't make up no Hoop Dreams t-shirts on college
Yeah,
campus and sell
yeah,
them.
man. They had us up against it, man, on every side except for the right side.
That
So
is
so think
absolutely
about this.
crazy.
Think about this. In knowing that, had we known that, we would have knew what to ask for when in those contracts. Well, I want to make sure I want to be caught on the back end if this thing ever gets, you know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that if it's the trademark name, if it's being so, you know what I'm saying? We need a piece of all of that.
Right,
Hmm.
right.
And, and we never knew.
Now, fellas, is there anything that maybe I didn't ask that you wanted to convey to the viewers? Is there anything that, yeah, Mike, man, he should have asked me to? Is there anything that you want to convey before I go on and have you talk about what you're doing now and about your merch and all that? But is there anything that maybe I didn't ask
Yes, you didn't. You didn't ask about our moms, Emma Gates and Sheila Agee. Those are the two stars of the film that was.
Okay.
These two women, man. Let me tell you, if they don't say yes, we don't. There's no hoop dream.
That's true. That's true.
It may be a hoop dream, but on somebody else differently. But if Mama Gates and Mama Agee do not say yes to these guys and let their hair down and let their guards down, well, Mama Gates only let them down halfway. But if they don't let their guards down and let these white folks into our private personal space,
right,
don't get hoop dreams.
Damn.
I want to add to that too, man. I think what I want always just let folks know, man, that Agee and I, man, we know that we have been blessed to be a part of something that we know that has become greater than us.
Yep.
And what we try to do is, man, we do try to convey to people that, we didn't start it, but we recognize that we are bearers of the name Hoop Dreams. But there's a million guys that came before us, and there's a million guys coming after us with the Hoop Dreams. And we're just glad now that the next generation is getting an opportunity to see that faces change, but the game is the same. And we hope that people are still learning what was being taught back then. You got to be self-aware. You gotta be able to position yourself to understand not just the game of basketball, but now how to handle yourself. So they coexist now. Business and sports, they coexist now, man, as early as high school.
Yep.
I mean, with the NIL out there, you can get NIL deals in high school now. So we're hoping that our lives still showcase to them that there's things that you just still got to be self-aware of.
Yeah.
Fellas, I always say, I want my guests to make an impact. And I was just going to ask you if there's anything you can let our viewers know. You just did. You just definitely did. You just handled that, I can't even add to that. But now let's talk about what you're doing now.
Yeah. Well, William and I, we have our own podcast called the Agee and Gates Hoop Dreams, the podcast.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, me and Will do our podcast. We done had it for what, 3.5 years now. We're going on 4.
Yeah.
He and I both have clothing lines, brands, up under from both of us individuals. We created our brands. We started it, years ago, but now we really, putting everything out there. He has a website. William has wrote a book called the Fifth Quarter.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He got a book. It was number 1 on Amazon for a few weeks.
Hoop Dreams, the Fifth Quarter.
Yep. We are also we're in the process right now of documenting Hoop Dreams 2 called After the Dream. And that is going to be a special project that William and I are executive producers on, where we're controlling most of everything.
Hey,
we understand. Yeah. So yeah, we finna
finna get our Hoop Dreams.
You said what?
We're about to get our Hoop Dreams.
No, get your Hoop Dreams.
Not that. You know how they say you hit one time, like, can you hit again? We finna try to hit again.
You know what? I know you're definitely gonna hit again. How people who, because I know this show's gone, because I'm sending this this is gonna be all over. How can people who are viewing this get a hold of you, get a hold of your merch? You know what I mean? I want I want to thank you for coming on my show. I'm gonna get me some merch. You already know that. But for the viewers who are tuning in, how to get a hold of you? How let them know a little bit of something. How to reach you all.
Give me your handles, Will.
Well, first of all, we want people to follow us, man, on OG Hoop Dreams. That's where you find us for our podcast, on our social media site, man. Follow that, click, subscribe. We on YouTube, every platform out there. We're there floating. My personal handle is Hoop 22 Dreams. It's across all of my platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me at Hoop 22 Dreams. My website, however, is hd-22.com. That's hd-22.com. And AGI, man, we love for people to reach out to us. We open, man, we're celebrating 30 years. A lot of folks don't know that. Hoop Dreams is celebrating 30 years. We've had some magnificent things that have been happening for us this year. Even like, in Chicago's very own, we were honored with uh, the basketball court on the west side of Chicago, the Hoop Dreams basketball court. So
Oh
we've been
man.
cemented. Man, we in the African American Museum in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
Like, there's been some really, really incredible things, man, that has happened for my dog and I, man. And we're just so appreciative of all the love that we've been receiving.
Yeah. Man, you can find me at Arthur G. Agee Jr. Hoop Dream, Mr. Hoop Dreams on IG, Arthur Agee Jr., my real name on Facebook. Same as that on Twitter, Tuss Hoop Dreams. Classic HD basketball. Once you go to my handles, everything is easy peasy. You can go to the website and get the book. You can get the poster, autograph, our shirts. Me and William got a few collab joints on there. We got some stuff coming out to represent Bo and Curtis. Rest in peace to our brother and my dad. So yeah, we definitely got some things in the works. So any organizations, you guys, schools, colleges, HBCUs, if you guys interested in showing the film and want to bring me and Will out for speaking engagements, you can hit either of us up for that, and we will get back to you on that for real.
Well, I'm gonna work on that out here. We need y'all out here for real. So I'm gonna work on that. Guarantee that. But we're gonna definitely do that. I am so impressed with you guys, man. And I know y'all doing the Hoop Dream. It's not gonna be a dream, it's gonna be reality. For y'all. And I want to thank you guys for coming on my show.
Yeah.
We gotta do this thing again.
Yep.
Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Is there anything, anybody you want to give a shout out to, or let them know about you?
I give this shout out, man. I didn't mention this. I should have mentioned this when you was asking us what we're doing too, man. A lot of folks didn't know this, man, but I'm actually an ordained pastor. I've been in ministry over 30 years. Been senior pastor, and so I have a ministry. It's called Thrive Ministries. You can catch me on Facebook Live and Instagram. Thrive Ministries. Just put that in there. I'll pop up, and every Sunday you can catch me there.
Hey, dog, tell your boy Bobby Reed, me and Will coming to bless his show next.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's my dog right there, man. He's the one that got me involved doing this podcast.
He was on here before. He was on here before you came on, Tuss.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. We were talking about you.
Yeah, he want me and Will to come on his show. So I told him, I said, me and my dog gonna find some time to come and bless you on your show too.
That's gonna be a great show, and he's got so many. Yeah, he's doing the damn thing. I love that brother, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So William Agee, man, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on my show. Y'all didn't really even know me from a hole in the damn wall. Yeah. For you to come on my show means so much to me. And like I said, I'm gonna hit up on your merch. I'm gonna talk to my people out here, say have y'all come out here. New Bedford Mass is a nice place to come visit, man. Y'all love it.
Hey,
but
the name
I want to thank you.
Conn Man. I knew me and Will had to come on here and bless you with that. I said, Conn Man. Yeah, I said, Will, I don't even know this dude that good, but he hit me up there, and I was like, man, he looked like an older gentleman, like he looked like he know like what we went through and everything. So I think we need to bless him. And Will said, let's do it, man.
All right, man. Well, thank you guys so much, man. God bless. Take care. I'll be hitting you up off the air, my man. Thank you.
Sir. Absolutely.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Folks, again, I want to thank you for tuning in to Sports Corner with the Conn Man. I've been doing this for about 3-4 years, and it's been an honor to have the guests that I have come on. It was kind of like a hoop dream to me to have, Agee and William Gates come on my show, because I watched the documentary. I seen everything, and again, they didn't know me from a hole in the damn wall, and for them to come on it's real tough to go out there and get guests, especially when people don't know you. And I do this for y'all because it's what I love to do, and I like to have my viewers get a little insight on certain things. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in. I know the show's supposed to be at 6, but we done went 2.5 hours. I'm sure my producer Key Williams is going to get at me for that. But thank you all for tuning in to the Sports Corner with the Conn Man. Next week, I think I'm going to have, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but I think I'm going to have Ash Ondorf back again. And she has a lot to say about the AAU and all kind of great things. Well, not great, but interesting things that she's going to bring about. And I'm going to give her the platform to speak on it as well. Again, thank you guys for tuning in to the Sports Wave Network and Sports Corner with the Conn Man. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have my guys, William Gates and Arthur Agee. They did the damn thing, and that's all you can ask for. Y'all have a great night. See you all next week. And also tune in, if you can, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. live, courtside view, where I know we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs, and we're going to do the damn thing. And, it's informative, funny. We get into it. Sometimes I go on with my crazy rants, but we have a great time. Again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and take care. God bless.